Good afternoon. Okay, this part of the project is based on the movie that we have been working on this semester, and it's called The Emperor's Club. This movie talks about the cheating on exams, and on this part of the project, we're gonna talk about some ideas to prevent this to happen. When I start thinking about some strategy to avoid this to happen, I take as an example the movie that we already see, The Emperor's Club. On this movie we saw how the teacher tries everything to help this student to get better on his study, but at the end he disappoints him because the student ends cheating on a really important exam. So what I think is more important about the movie, it's that this boy never changed his behavior along the time. When he was older and everyone was in the meeting, he was cheating again, so he never changed this attitude. Something else I took into account to create this strategy was the research I do in the second part of this project. Was about do some research about the new techniques for cheating on exams, and on this part I found out that it was really easy to get a lot of different ideas to cheat with a lot of different techniques. For example, you can cheat with a water bottle. You can where you can find some layouts to create the label of the bottle, and you can print it and paste it on the bottle so you can cheat easily. There is another technique about a lot of different notes in different parts of your body, how to hide different kind of notes and all that kind of stuff. So after this research I get to the conclusion that every day it's getting easier to cheat because of the new technologies and the new techniques that you can find out so easily around the internet. So on this part I start to look for the techniques that every teacher has to avoid this cheating on the exams. So I found out a really crazy ideas that was implemented in other countries like China or Japan, where they cover the sides of the heads of the students so they can look around, and they to take the cell phones of the students and put them on the board so they can avoid the students use them on the exam. I always do the research for the second part of the psychological behavior of people that used to cheat. I found really interesting articles that talk about this, and one of them was found in the New Yorker, where they show some studies that say that cheating is a matter of character and moral development, because there are some persons who believes that there is no excuse or reason to cheat, no matter the circumstances. But there are some cases where cheating is more probable to happen when there is a really stressful situation for the student, like a final exam that defines if he passes the class or no. The pressure of having a good grade can lead him to cheat even if he usually doesn't cheat. In this case, the cheating for the student is a better choice than losing this grade. So, after all this research, I get to the conclusion that the cheating is something that you decide about what you have about morals and ethics. If you are a really ethical person, you won't cheat even if it's easier with the new technologies, or and if there is a pressure about this, you won't cheat. So I think that the strategy of the teachers, even if they try it really hard, then the students didn't cheat, it's almost impossible to prevent it 100% to happen. So I think that the best strategy to avoid this is to create a really good and strong morals about this and show this to the kids since they are pretty little, that every kind of cheating is pretty bad, even if you have the pressure, even if the different circumstances, there is no excuse to do this because it's something wrong and you didn't have to. So that's the conclusion that I get, that it's not something you can avoid 100% to happen, but if you try to implement this moral and ethics from when they are younger, it's more probably that they didn't do it when they are older.